What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. Hope you are all doing super well. We're going to talk about Ret Paladin today. 10.2, new tier set bonus. We'll compare it to the old tier set bonus. Talk about what's changed, whether it's better or not, and some potential talent changes you might have to take because of the new tier set bonus that's coming in. First of all, let's just look at it. There's been some criticism over how this thing looks. The shoulders are really good. The helmet is... it's okay. It's a little janky. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think it's a little strange. This new two-handed sword is pretty dope, though. This is just like a PvP two-handed sword. I think I have. It's really, really good. So anyway, it's a little bit, it's a little sus. This whole thing is, it's a little bit sus. I'm not gonna lie. Let me swap over here really quick and let's look at this. Paladin changes on the PTR. These are the patch notes here. There's no actual changes to Ret yet, but they did buff the tier set bonus. It was bugging out. Essentially saying following bug fixes for returning the set to a better hit our tuning targets. Additionally, the amount of uptime that the 4 set bonus provides, it was overperforming in tandem with a few retribution talents located deeper in the tree. We appreciate everyone's feedback. So they kind of changed the 4 set a little bit, nerfed the damage of that a little bit, but that's okay. It was 50% effectiveness, and then it's going down to 25%. But the expurgation got buffed. The 2 set got buffed. So that's all. There's no like Ret specific changes, just that stuff there. Let's look at the tier set bonus, and then we'll talk about the implications that it's going to have on your talent choices and all that stuff. Okay, so expurgation, which is the dot from Blade of Justice. Right here, expurgation. Okay. Expurgation lasts 3 more seconds, deals 30% more damage. Casting Judgment or Divine Toll on a target that has the dot on them will cause Wrathful Sanction, which damages them for 20k holy damage, and then resonates some more holy damage to other enemies nearby. So you put the dot on them with Blade of Justice, then you cast Judgment or Divine Toll. It does a bunch of extra damage. That's the 2-piece. Wrathful Sanction grants you Echoes of Wrath, causing your next Templar's Verdict or Divine Storm to deal damage a second time at 25% effectiveness, not 50% effectiveness. This effect does not consume Judgment. That's fine. So basically what you're doing now is you're just casting Blade of Justice. It puts the dot on them, and then your Judgment or Divine Toll, which casts Judgment, those procs will cause more damage. And then you'll also get your next spender will trigger a second time at 25% of the damage. So upfront dot, your Judgment does extra damage to targets that are dotted, and then you get an extra cast of the spender that you were using. As far as I'm aware, the extra casts of the spenders do trigger Divine Purpose. Somebody clarify for me in the comments down below. But I'm pretty sure that they do count towards Divine Purpose, so they could trigger a potential free Holy Power spender, which is very, very nice. And then they're obviously just doing a bunch of extra damage for you. Inside your Final Reckoning window, they are also doing extra damage, right? Causing enemies to take 30% more damage from your Holy Power abilities for 16 seconds, right? Which is really, really good. Of course, if you were doing Execution Sentence on a single target boss, the extra spender that you're getting, the free extra spender from the 4-piece, is just going into that damage as well. So it works with all those kinds of functionalities, which is very, very good. Obviously, if you're casting a Divine Storm, it's also going to project an additional Tempest of the Lightbringer, which is very nice. Now, what do we think about this tier set bonus compared to the previous tier set bonus? The previous tier set bonus, the one we have right now, gave us this really interesting interaction with Hammer of Justice, or Hammer of Wrath, sorry, where your Hammer of Wrath would cleave to 4 targets, which was super cool, and it would also apply Judgment, so you had Judgment up all the time. With the current tier set bonus, Judgment is up like 24/7. They're kind of moving away from that a little bit, and they're sort of removing any interesting interactions as far as I can tell. Basically, what you're doing with the new tier set bonus is you're just pressing Blade of Justice, right? Then you're gonna get throw a Judgment or a Divine Toll, and then you're going to use a spender. I mean, it's what you're doing anyway. There's nothing really crazy about it, whereas the old tier set bonus had this kind of interesting gameplay with Hammer of Wrath, where you would take 2 charges of Hammer of Wrath, and you could try to target like somebody who was in execute, and you would throw your Hammer of Wrath at the execute target, and then it would cleave the extra Hammer of Wrath on targets who aren't in execute, which was kind of a nice way to cheese some damage there. But you can't really do that anymore. It's just all about this dot, and I think it's fine, but it is potentially a little bit more boring. Let me know what you think in the comments down below about if it's boring or not. But let's get the turnip out. I'm going to show you 5-target cleave. We'll show you the damage that it's doing on 5-target cleave. Again, I don't think much has changed. Let me just really quickly go over the talents. I think you might want to take 2 charges of Blade of Justice now. You might also want to get the cooldown of Blade of Justice down because that's going to give you the expurgation dot, right? However, you might not as well. You might want Judgment instead. I'm going to flip to Judgment really quick because Judgment is what triggers Wrathful Sanction. So I'm kind of splitting the difference here. I'm saying I want Judgment to be cooled down more, but I also want 2 charges of Blade of Justice to guarantee I'm getting expurgation on the enemies all the time, okay? And then we have a better cooldown on Judgment, which is really good. You also want to cool down Judgment over here, right? 1 more second off the cooldown of Judgment there. That's very good. I don't think you probably want to take these talents down here. You could mess around with something else. Maybe just take Mastery. Just don't worry about that for now. That's not really the most important thing. But what is important is making sure that you can get as many Judgments into the Blade of Justice window as possible. I also think you might want to take Art of War, which is going to get a chance to have your Blade of Justice get reset. So again, you can continue to get expurgation on the enemies. You want the uptime of expurgation to be 100%. It's a 9-second dot. You basically want that up all the time. I'm also obviously taking Blade of Justice, and we're making our auto attacks go quicker with Zealot's Fervor. So let's just see kind of how this works. Those are the major talent changes that I made to try and support this new tier set bonus. Let's see how it goes. See if my uptime is good enough on the Blade of Here we go. We're gonna go wings into this. Judgment. Okay, we do this. Divine Toll. Our Spender's going to go twice. There we go. Judgment again. Use our Spender because it's going to trigger twice. Okay, here we go. Use another Spender. Expurgation's going to go. There's Judgment. Oh, Judgment went off from Divine Toll. I messed that up really hard there. I had an extra Judgment from Divine Toll. But you can see the damage is good, first of all. Okay. And then the uptime on your Blade of Justice is really what we're kind of interested in. Is it good? And it turns out it is. So we're getting huge uptime on Blade of Justice. The expurgation dot probably has been up the entire time, I would assume. It's just about whether or not we're getting our Judgments back, because we need to be able to cast Judgment after we cast Blade of Justice in order to get that extra proc on our Spender, like you saw right there. We got an extra proc on our Spender. But Blade of Justice itself, the uptime is massive right now. We're back into wings. Here we go. Hammer of Wrath. Hammer of Wrath just has so much less priority now. It's kind of crazy. Here comes a Divine Toll. Right after we do this, Divine Toll. And it's going to go off again. So we're going to save our Judgment. There's our second Judgment right there for free. We're going to save our Judgment right now. There's another one. There we go. And then we're getting the Consumption. So I think it's going to be a bit of a mini game of trying to weave in a couple Blade of Justices to make sure that you're getting the expurgation dot to stay on the enemy so that your Spenders are all triggering twice. That's what you want. You want to make sure your Spenders are triggering twice. That's going to be the main source of your damage, and then we're going to walk away. So you can see we were maintaining like 260, 270k. Divine Storm hits so many times, right? Because it's triggering those extra times. Expurgation doing tons of damage now. 30% more damage on Expurgation just from the tier set bonus. Wrathful Sanction, there's that first proc of damage. So when we cast Judgment against somebody that has Expurgation on them, we're getting Wrathful Sanction. That's 6% of our damage right there, which is pretty awesome. And then on top of that, we're getting the 4-piece bonus, which is a little bit harder to quantify, but we're getting the extra proc on our Spender, which is going to be all into Divine Storm. It's a little bit harder to quantify that, but I'd say this tier set bonus is giving us, between the Expurgation dot, the actual Wrathful Sanction damage, and the extra Spender that's doing more damage from Divine Storm, we're probably getting at least 10 to 12% more damage from this tier set bonus, because Wrathful Sanction 6% already. Then you've got the extra dot damage from Expurgation. Let's call that 2% more damage maybe. So you're at 8%. And then I would say the extra Divine Storms that you're generating are probably at least another 2 or 3%. That's like 11, 12%. I think it's probably between 10 and 12% of your damage just from this tier set bonus. So is that good enough? Yeah, I think it's pretty good. And It doesn't really change your gameplay at all, except for the fact that you want to make sure that expurgation is up on the enemies at all times. We had 97% uptime. I let it slip for 3%, but that's what you're looking for. You're going to be looking to get, 100% uptime on expurgation if possible. That's really what you're kind of looking for there. So I think on AoE, this is completely insane. It's going to do lots of damage for you, and your rotation will be very simple. You don't have to worry about sort of trying to get those Hammer of Wrath executes anymore. There's really you got no problem with that at all. All you're worried about is keeping the expurgation dot on the enemy as much as you possibly can, okay? Now, we can try this in single target. Let me do a single target tree really quick. I'll be right back. All right, here is a single target build that we've kind of cooked up here. I think it's going to be fine. You can modify this however way you want. I think most of the talents here are similar to what a single target build would be on live, but I'm just changing this one so that I can get judgment back a little bit quicker. It might be wrong, I'm not really sure, but this is kind of what you're looking at, and I really hate the 4 holy power playstyle, so if this is the absolute correct way to play this, don't judge me. We're just trying to see if this works, right? Don't worry about it. We're just making sure that this actually works in single target. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go in, and we'll get an execution sentence started, and then we'll just kind of rip and roll, maybe. There we go. Get that going. Forgot to get this. There. Now I got expurgation going. So it gets those Templar verdicts going twice whenever you cast Judgment, right? So I do Blade of Justice, do Judgment. Our damage is looking fine, even though I'm playing this horribly, as you can all see. So it's doing a bunch. Oh, yeah, it's throwing Judgments there. I messed that up again. Keep forgetting Divine Soul. Okay, Execution. We're getting so much Holy Power just for free from the Templar Strikes. It's kind of crazy. There's our Judgment. We're getting double Templar Verdicts, basically, because after your Judgment, you're going to get that, which is so cool. There's a second one there. So, yeah, it feels really good to play, and this feels pretty smooth. I think the damage is fine. I think that it would be better if I knew how to do Ret Paladin single target much, much better, which I don't, so I apologize for that. Okay, here we go. Wings. Get execution sentence going. Then we do this. Get a double one, then we got Blade of Justice again. Try and get another Judgment in a second. There we go. There, double. Boom. We'll get a Divine Toll. Okay, Judgment into Divine Toll. Into another. We'll get a double Templar's Verdict. It's going to throw another Judgment. There it is. Then we do another double Templar's Verdict. And it's going to throw another one. There we go. There's another one. Then we throw our own Judgment and get another one. So you can see how many double Templar's Verdicts you can get, right? It's pretty cool. And I'm guessing you'd want to squeeze as many of those into Execution Sentence as you could. So having Divine Toll line up with Execution Sentence is perfect. Every other one, basically, right? And you can get the double Templar's Verdict inside of that to get as much maximum damage as possible. So there you go. This is what it's going to look like. Final Verdict is going to do tons and tons of damage, of course. Execution Sentence is there, and then there's the Wrathful Sanctions doing 5% of our damage, and then we've got Expurgation doing 4%. Now, again, 30% of Expurgation's damage just got buffed by the tier set. So the tier set is giving us about 1.2% more damage there. 1.2% plus the Wrathful Sanction is 6.2, right? And then the extra Final Verdicts we're getting probably takes us to like 7 or 8%. You could get way more double Templar's Verdicts than I was getting. I know you guys could do that. So I'm just saying this is probably 8% of your damage or so, I would say, just this tier set bonus, even on single target. So I think it's really strong. That's strong enough in my books. And again, it doesn't really change your rotation very much at all. You're just trying to plan around the 4-piece bonus, which says Wrathful Sanction grants you Echoes of Wrath. So it's that Wrathful Sanction proc, the Judgment that you throw after the Expurgation dot is on the enemy. You throw a Judgment, then your next spender will double tap. That's the gameplay that you're looking to master, is making sure that you can get every single Judgment to fit in perfectly, especially with Divine Toll coupled with Divine Resonance, which gives you an extra Judgment every 5 seconds. That's the gameplay loop you're looking for. You have to have a spender ready to go for every single one of these extra Judgments that comes out so that you can immediately get the double proc on Divine Storm or Final Verdict. So that's really cool. I think the gameplay loop is Maybe actually a little bit more exciting than I initially thought it was. Probably just as exciting as the old set, which was centered around Hammer of Wrath. I think this is looking good for Pally. A little bit of stuff to pay attention to, but most of it is just passive, behind the scenes, extra damage that you're going to be doing, whether you're in single target or AoE. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from all of you. Please let me know, you guys who play Ret Paladin. What do you think about this set? Did I miss anything really important? Write it down there and we can chat about it down there. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Love you all. I will see you in the next one.